So, morning, guys. So today's session will finish off the problems what are there in branch accounts. I've picked up almost every model possible so that everything gets covered here. Okay. So let's start with these problems. I shall share you the questions. You can go through those. Okay. Yeah. So let's go by each of the question and solve each of them. These questions are mixed up because every attempt a different question could be asked in the examination. Hence, whatever question comes, we will solve because we are not going as per the sequence. Okay. Instead, we are going based on the exam papers, whatever they have asked in. Okay. So, first question: XYZ company is having its branch at Kolkata. Goods are invoiced to the branch at 20% profit on sale. Branch has been instructed to send all cash daily to head office. All expenses are paid by head office except petty expenses which are met by the branch manager. From the following particulars, prepare branch account in the books of head office. Stock on 1st April 2010, invoice price, sundry debtors on 1st April 2010, cash in hand, office furniture on 1st April, goods invoice from head office, invoice price lakh and 60, goods returned to head office 2000, goods returned by debtors, okay, 960, cash received from debtors is 60,000. There is some alignment issue there, please correct it. Okay, so this cash here is part of next line. Okay, cash received from debtors is 60,000, cash sales is 1 lakh, credit sales is 60,000. Okay, so these are the items. And on the other side, you have discount allowed to debtors, expenses paid by head office, rent, salary. I think again there is some alignment issue. I'll correct it here. Please see. Rent, salary is 3,200. Stationery and printing is 800. Okay, and then petty expenses paid by the branch is 600. Okay, is 600, and depreciation to be provided on branch furniture at 10% per annum is 28,000. Is 28. All right, I think it's not 28,000 here. So branch depreciation is to be provided 10% on 10% per annum, and stock is actually at invoice price, which is 28,000. So these are the information which is given to you. Using this, he has asked you to prepare branch account in head office books. Okay. Now, first of all, what type of an problem is this? Right? What type of a problem is this? This is just a casual problem which is given where he has given details of everything. Where he has given details of everything. That is, he wants you to prepare a branch account. Yeah, he wants you to prepare a branch account. However, he has not asked you to prepare a detailed analysis of the branch account. That means it's basically debtors method. It's basically debtors method. So we will adopt all items within the branch account only. We will consider the branch as a debtor. Okay. So considering this, let us start the solution. Okay. So first question in branch accounts, let us do now. We are doing Kolkata branch. Kolkata branch account in head office books. Okay. So in which we have 4 columns: particulars, amount, and same particulars and amounts here also. Okay. That's it. Okay. So these are the columns what we have. Let us start with what would we start with. Now, if you observe in the question, he has told you about opening balances. He has also told you about closing balances. Okay. We are supposed to start with opening balances because we will consider it as if a debtor. That's all. So in the branch, I have invested some stock. Okay. I have some debtors which are supposed to be collected. Okay. I have some expenses which are incurred. There is some cash which is maintained by the branch. There are some assets which are held by the branch. So all these are nothing but my opening stock only, opening balances. Okay. So let us start with those two. Balance brought down from last year. What all items do I have? I have stock which is given there. Stock is 30,000 which is mentioned. We will talk about the stock little later. We will talk about the stock little later because there is something to do regarding the opening balance. Okay. Stock we have 30,000. Then we have debtors which are given, which he says it is 18,000. He has given opening balance. And then he says there is cash balance of cash in hand. There is some cash in hand. How much is cash in hand? 800 is the cash in hand which is mentioned. Okay. Then you have furniture which is given there. Furniture is 3,000. Okay. So you have started with opening balances first. You have started with opening balances first. Now, with respect to opening balances, out of all these, only stock account is something which I am sending at a marked price. Stock account alone, I'm sending at a marked price. Okay. And he says in the question that the markup which is being done. I hope you guys are able to see the screen now. The Excel sheet, I think I did not share it earlier. Okay. So let us read the question once. Yeah, sorry guys. Let's read the question once. He says, goods are invoiced. He says, goods are invoiced to branch at 20% on sale. What does that mean? If I send any goods to the branch, in the sale price, 20% is the profit what I'm adding. In the what is the profit is 20% in the sales value. Okay. So on sales, it is 20% is what he says. Now, you have some stock on 1st April, which is invoice price. That means this 30,000 also has got some amount of markup in it, yes or no? To the extent of markup, I'm supposed to reverse it. To the extent of market, I'm supposed to reverse it. What would I do? In this debtor account only, in this branch account only, on the credit side, I would deduct it to the extent of whatever is the stock reserve. Okay. So entry for that is going to be on the credit side by stock reserve. By stock reserve, this is for opening balance. Okay. This is for opening balance. How much would I take? He says 20% on market price, sale price. So 30,000 into 20%. So that is equal to 30,000 into 0.2, 6,000 rupees. Okay. So this is with respect to opening. Clear? Now that we are done with opening items, let's get into other transactions, what all have happened. Let's get into other transactions, what all have happened. So apart from this, what has happened? I sent some goods to branch. Please see in the question, he says goods invoice from head office, invoice price 1,60,000, yes or no? So to goods sent to branch, GSBR account, to goods sent to branch account, it is 1,60,000. Now against this 1,60,000, against this 1,60,000, I am again supposed to look at what is the amount of loading in it, which I'll have to reverse it in the credit side because I want it to be maintained like a debtor. Okay. So on the credit side, by GSBR account, I would take 20% on the invoice price. Okay. So 32,000. I'm doing it line by line so that you will have a clarity of sequence of events, guys. Okay. I'm doing it in a, I'm giving gap in between the account. Actually not required, but for your clarity, I'm doing it this way. Against each transaction, I'm writing the amount of reversal also, loading reversal. Okay. Then what has happened? He has got some goods returned to head office. The value is 2,000 rupees is what he has mentioned. Okay. Now, if goods are returned back, it's going to be by goods returned by branch. Goods returned by branch. Now, he has mentioned it is 2,000 rupees. He did not mention it whether it is invoice price, cost price and all. If nothing is mentioned, you would assume it to be invoice price only. Okay. By goods received from branch, goods returned by branch. Against this, again, there will be loading, no? Against this, there will be again loading. Okay. So, 2 goods returned by branch. So, it is 20% on 2,000. Clear? So, I am writing it transaction by transaction so that you will have that clarity. Clear? Now, apart from this, what has happened? There is goods returned by debtors. Will I be really bothered? I am least bothered because after I send it to you, you do whatever you want to do. I am least bothered about it. I will not take any record of transaction at all. Okay. And then he says cash received from debtors. Not really interested. Yes or no? Cash received from debtors. Now all these are basically something which he is receiving. Okay. Then there is some cash sales. And then there is some credit sales of 60,000. Okay. Now these are the receipts what he has received. These are the sales and receipts what he has received. However, if you observe in the question, he says all expenses are paid by head office except petty expenses which are met by the branch manager. And he also says that branch has been instructed to send all cash daily to head office. In the beginning, he has mentioned it. Okay. In beginning, first 2 lines, he says that branch has been instructed to send all cash daily to head office. That means what? He has actually collected 60,000 rupees from debtor. He has collected cash sales. He has made a cash sale of 1 lakh. Okay. Both this should be actually refunded back to me. That is, he should send it back to me. Yes or no? So for that purpose, let us make a note now. By cash. It is basically nothing but remittance. By cash remittance. How much did he send? He has sent 1 lakh plus 60,000 of whatever he has received. Okay. Now, he did not mention about any petty expenses being incurred by, he has told you that petty expenses incurred by branch is 600. Okay. Anyways, those monies are available with him for to the extent of 800 rupees. Opening balance of 800 is there now. Okay. Please see the question. Please see the question. He says cash in hand is 800. Okay. And petty expenses paid by the branch is 600. Hence, these monies are paid out of 800. That's all. The 600 is paid out of 800, and balance you still have 200 rupees on hand. That's what you are supposed to understand. Okay. So that means all other monies, whatever is collected, 60,000, 1 lakh is completely refunded or remitted to head office only directly. Okay. Hence, I have taken directly that 1,60,000 as received from branch. Clear? Next. What other items do you have? Discount allowed to debtors. Am I really bothered about it? I'm not bothered. Expenses paid by head office. These are important for me because I am spending on behalf of the branch. I'm spending on behalf of the branch. So rent I paid 1,800. Salary I paid 3,200. Stationery printing I paid 800. So all these three I'll have to showcase as if I incurred expense for the branch. Okay. So let us take entries. Okay. To bank. I'm spending my own money. For what all purposes am I spending? I'm spending for rent, then stationery, then what other expenses are there? Salary is also there. Salary. So these are the expenses what I am incurring for. Okay. So for all these three together, it is actually 1,800 plus 3,200 plus 800. Okay. So 5,800 rupees is what I have spent for him. Okay. And then what other items do we have? What other items do we have? Apart from this, if you observe in the question, he talks about depreciation to be provided. Okay. Now depreciation, is it important for me? It is important, though we don't account for it here. It is important, though we don't account for it here. Why? Because we'll have to show what is the closing value of your furniture, yes or no? Okay. So for that reason, depreciation is important, but we will not account for it here. Okay. And then petty expenses incurred by branch, I will not account here. I will only take what is the closing balance of cash. That's all. Okay. So stock on 31st March, he has mentioned about it. So let us take all these items and then go ahead with closure. Okay. Now I'm supposed to prepare details of closing balances by balance carried down. In this, what all do I have? Again, I have stock, I have debtors, I have cash in hand, and then I have furniture. Okay. Furniture first I'll directly take. He says it is 10% on opening balance I'm supposed to take. Okay. So it is going to be 3,000 minus 300 rupees, which is 10%. Okay. So it is going to be 3,000 minus 300. That is 2,700 is furniture. Cash in hand also, you actually gave him an opening balance of 800, out of which he spent petty expense of 600. That means he is right now having 200 on hand. Okay. Debtors, we are supposed to calculate. Stock, he has directly told you in the question that the stock price invoice value is 28,000. Okay. 28,000, take it directly. Debtors alone, let us prepare a working note. Let us prepare a working note for debtors. Okay. So come down, leave some space and start with a debtors account. Debtors account of Kolkata branch. Now, what did he tell you about the debtors? He says there is an opening balance, to balance brought down, to balance brought down. The balance brought down value is 18,000, yes or no? Opening balance of debtors is 18,000. Okay. And then he says there is some credit sale made. Credit sale made. That means two sales. Two sales, you have 60,000. Okay. And on the credit side, you have some collections, cash collected by cash. How much did you collect? You collected 60,000. Okay. Apart from that, there is some sales returns made. Sales returns out by the debtors. Okay. So by sales returns, by sales returns, it is 960 rupees is what he has given there. Okay. And then there is some discount allowed by you. Discount allowed by you. Okay. So the discount allowed is 160 given there. Okay. Then I think these are the only transactions what you have. On considering all these, the amount what you get, the closing balance what you get is basically by balance carried down, it would be this minus sum of all these. So closing balance is basically 16,880. Okay. So this is the debtors account what he has asked you to prepare. Okay. We have prepared it. In fact, he did not ask you. We did it for our clarity. That's all. Okay. So I hope you guys are able to see this. So this is debtors account of Kolkata branch. Yeah. Now let us go ahead with your debtors. Here it's going to be 16,880. Okay. Now that we are almost done, there is one more important adjustment to be done. That is with respect to this closing stock. With respect to this closing stock, I will have to create a stock reserve. Otherwise, what happens? My profit will be overstated. My profit will be overstated. Hence, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to write a entry, stock reserve entry for this amount of 28,000. So let me write that to stock reserve. To stock reserve, it's going to be 28,000 into 0.2, 5,600. Clear? Once you are done with this, so I am highlighting all stock reserve items in red so that you will understand that they both are passed together. Okay. So finally, what you can now do is you can balance this account. You can balance this account. Okay. So to balance carried down, it is going to be 24,000 this thing minus sum of all these debits. Okay. So the profit, this is basically profit, sorry, not balance, this profit to profit and loss account. Okay. You transfer it to profit and loss account. So this is your profit made. Clear? Okay. So this is the account which we have prepared for your Kolkata branch account in the books of head office. Okay. And then another working note is prepared, that is debtors account of Kolkata branch. Why did we prepare? Because we need to know what is the closing balance here. Clear? So this is how we'll have to do whenever a question is asked for. Clear? All right. So let's move to next question. So the first question what we did is in debtors method. Okay. So second question is a theory question. Please see quickly. Why goods are marked on invoice price by head office while sending goods to the branch? Multiple reasons you can give. Number one, the head office does not want to disclose the cost at which it has purchased. Second, to ensure uniformity in the goods which are sent and to identify the profit made by the branch. Okay, so these are few things which you can mention there. Okay, so next, let's move to next question. Let's move to next question. So if you observe, in 2011 May, 8 marks is asked for this debtors account, debtors method, and 4 marks is asked for a theory part. That means the weightage which is given for branch accounts alone is 12 marks. Okay, so that's the importance of this particular chapter. Okay, on an average you can see at least 6 marks to almost 16 marks there is possibility from this chapter. Okay, so let's move ahead to next question. So I'll read out the question, please see. I'll read out the question, please see. Third question. Global Limited has a branch which closes its books of accounts every year on 31st March. This is an independent branch which maintains comprehensive books of accounts for recording their transactions. You are required to show journal entries in the books of branch on 31st March 2011 to rectify or adjust the following. That means there are some issues which he has raised there. He wants you to rectify them. That's all. Okay. Head office allocates $135,000 to the branch as head office expenses, which have not yet been recorded by the branch. Now, what does that mean? First of all, head office has incurred, but what happened, which have not yet been recorded by the branch. That means branch has not recorded. As I told you yesterday in the class, always the receiving party is the one who is supposed to account for. Generally, it is assumed that the sender or the initiating party would have already recorded for it. Okay. In this problem, what has happened? The head office has allocated 1,50,000. It has incurred, but it is not recorded in branch books. That's the problem. It's not recorded in branch books. That's the problem. That means in branch books, I'm supposed to write an entry. In branch books, I'm supposed to write an entry. What would be the... There is disturbance in audio. So please see now. Okay, is that good now? All right, let's go ahead. So that means head office has already accounted for this 1,35,000. However, branch has not recorded it. Okay, so what I should do now, in the branch books, I am supposed to record for it. That's all. Okay, so entry would be what? Head office is actually incurring. Head office is actually incurring. Now for a branch, head office is like a creditor. For branch, head office is like a creditor. That means head office is incurring some expenses for me. My expense is to be debited and head office has to be credited. Okay, so entry would be uh, expenses account debit, whatever be the expense. Okay, expenses account debit to head office account, to head office account. So here head office name is Global Limited, Global Limited head office account. Clear? So that is the first entry. Second, depreciation of branch fixed assets whose accounts are kept by head office in its books, not yet recorded in branch books, 1,15,000. Now what is he trying to convey? My depreciation accounts are generally maintained by head office. Okay, and it is not recorded in my books. It is not recorded in my books. So what happens? Depreciation is an expense for me. I'll have to record for that expense of depreciation, which is 1,15,000. And whom will I credit it to? Whom will I credit it to? Here, if you observe, depreciation of branch fixed assets whose accounts are kept by head office. That means these are maintained by head office. Hence, I'll have to credit the your head office account here. Okay, so head office account will be credited for the depreciation whatever they are charging. Okay, next, third, branch paid 1,40,000 as salary to an official from head office on visit to branch and debited the amount to its salaries account. That means what? First of all, you are paying salary of your head office. It's not actually your expense. It's not actually your expense. It is the expense of the head office. So instead of debiting the head office account, you have actually debited salaries account. So rectification entry would be what? Rectification entry would be head office account debit to salaries account. Okay. So I'm telling you directly in words, but I want you to write down. Okay. You please write down all these entries there. So the entry is going to be head office account debit to salaries account, because head office is supposed to be debited, but you have wrongly debited salaries account. Now you are rectifying it. That is, head office is debited and salaries is going to be credited. Next. Next. Head office collected 1,30,000 directly from a branch customer on behalf of the branch, but no intimation was received earlier by the branch. Now the branch learns about it. That means there is a collection made by head office. There's a collection made by head office, but I don't know that. I being the branch, I don't know that head office has collected money from my debtor. Now what will I do? In my books of accounts, the value of debtor should reduce. In my books of accounts, the value of debtors should reduce. So that means debtors will be credited. Debtors will be credited. And what would I debit? My head office has actually received the money. Hence, head office account would be debited here. Okay. So entry would be head office account debit to debtors account. Value is 1,30,000. Okay. Lastly, it is learnt that a remittance of 1,50,000 sent by the branch has not yet been received by head office till date. Now, please be cautious. Please be cautious. Here, who is the sending branch? Who is the sending party? Sending party is branch. Receiving party is who? The head office. Right now, in whose books are we writing the adjustments? We are writing adjustments in branch books only. Branch books only. Now, first of all, this entry is already recorded in branch books. Only in head office books, it is not properly recorded. Okay. Hence, what happens in branch books, I need not make any adjustment entry. Only in head office books, I'll have to make that adjustment entry. Clear? So this is the solution for the fifth point. So you can write there, no entry will be passed in the books of branch as it is already recorded in branch books. It is to be rectified or adjusted only in head office. That's all. Okay. So with this intro, with this info, you can finish off this question. Okay. So fourth question is about a foreign non-integrated branch. Okay. So before going to fourth question, let us finish off all such theory questions and then get into problems so that it will be convenient for us. So we have 2 more theory questions. Take out 5th question. Okay. Take out 5th question. Give journal entries in the books of head office to rectify or adjust the following. That means you are now writing entries in the books of head office, not the branch. So let us see. Goods sent to branch 12,000, stolen during transit. Branch manager refuses to accept any liability. Refuses to accept any liability. Now, what does this mean? I sent some goods. On the way, there is some loss. It did not even reach the branch. Even before that, the stock is lost. So branch manager says, I am not responsible. While you are sending the goods, you lost it. I will not take responsibility. That means what? I am going to incur that loss. Okay. That's basically a loss only for the head office. So what entry will I write? Out of my purchases, that is out of my stock, this loss has happened. So I will be crediting my own stock account. I will be creating my own stock account, or I will be crediting my own purchase account, and debit will be given for the loss account. Okay. So entry would be loss on goods in transit account debit to stock or purchase account. Stock or purchase account. So it's going to be 12,000, 12,000. That's all. Okay. Next. Branch paid 15,000 as salary to the officer of head office on his visit to branch. That means it is similar to what we have written in branch. Okay. Now in head office, let us write now. It's going to be branch is incurring an expense on my behalf. Branch is incurring an expense on my behalf, and the expense is actually salary. Okay. So entry would be salary account debit to branch account, because for me it is an expense, salary, and who incurred it? I did not incur, branch incurred. Hence I am crediting branch account. Okay. Salary account debit to branch account. Next. On 28th March 2012, the head office dispatched goods to the branch invoiced at 25,000, which was not received by branch till 31st March 2012. Now, please see carefully. Goods is dispatched by head office. Goods is dispatched by head office to the branch invoiced at 25,000, which was not received by branch till 31st March. That means in my books, I would have already accounted for it. I am right now in head office. I being the head office, the sending party, I would have recorded for it. Only party who has not recorded is who has not received it. That is branch. That means in my books, it is correctly accounted. I need not account for it. Okay. So for the third item, no entry at all. No entry at all. So next, fourth item, please see. A remittance of 10,000. A remittance of 10,000 by the branch on 30th of March 2012, received by the head office on 1st April 2012. Now what is he trying to say? Branch transferred money to me. I did not receive. I did not receive. So what will I record? I'll have to reduce the amount of branch balance, branch debit balance, yes or no? And I'll have to debit my cash balance. But did I really receive cash? No. In such case, what we would mention is, we call it as cash in transit. We call it as cash in transit. Okay. So entry in this case would be cash in transit account debit to branch account. Cash in transit account debit to branch account. So it's going to be 10,000, 10,000. Last entry, head office made payment of 25,000 for purchase of goods by branch and wrongly debited its own purchase account. Wrongly debited its own purchase account. Now, what did he actually do? He purchased something for the sake of branch. What happened? I am supposed to actually debit branch account, but I actually debited purchase account. That means wrongly debited purchases should be now credited and branch account should be debited now. Okay. So entry rectification entry would be branch account debit to purchase account. Amount is going to be 25,000, 25,000. Okay. So this is the answer for this fifth question. Now let's go to another theory question which is there here. Seventh question. Okay. See here, rectifications alone are given for 8 marks. Okay. So let us see each of these items now. Pass necessary journal entries in the books of independent branch of company wherever required to rectify or adjust the following. So that means here also it is again about branch. In the books of branch you are writing the entries. Okay. Head office he did not ask you, let us not write. That's all. So let us start. First one, income of 2,800 allocated to the branch by head office, but not recorded in the books of branch. Not recorded in the books of branch. So what happens? I am supposed to now record the income. I'm supposed to now record the income. Now income means a nominal account. That means it generally has got a credit balance. So income is to be credited. So income is nothing but you may consider it as sales. Okay. Sales may be credited and debit would be given to your head office account. Okay. Entry would be head office account debit to income or sales account. Head office account debit to income or sales account. Value is 2,800. Next. Provision for doubtful debts whose accounts are kept by the head office, not provided earlier for 1,000 rupees. Now what is this about? My head office maintains details of all the doubtful debts, that is bad debts provisions and all is taken care by head office. It is not provided earlier for 1,000 rupees. That means I should now provide for it. I should now provide for it. So entry would be provision for doubtful debts. That is basically a loss or an expense. Okay, a provision. Hence you would be debiting it and credit would be given to your head office account. Head office account would be credited. Next. Branch paid salary to head office manager, but the amount paid has been debited by the branch to salaries account. I think I need not explain this again. Something which you have seen earlier. Entry would be your head office would be debited and your salaries account would be credited because it's wrongly debited earlier. Okay. So entry is head office account debit to salaries account 3,000, 3,000. Next, fourth item. Branch incurred travel expense of 5,000 on behalf of other branches, but not recorded in the books of branch. That means what? You incurred for other branches. Though you incur for other branches or for head office, you will record it as if it is for head office only, because head office will take the burden of allocating the expense by each of these branches. Okay. So again, there is going to be head office account debit to bank, head office account debit to bank. So it is going to be 5,000, 5,000. Next. A remittance of 1,50,000 sent by the branch has not been received by head office on the date of reconciliation. Now, what does that mean? Branch has sent money to head office, but head office did not receive by that time. That means in the books of branch, the sending branch, the sending sending person has already recorded for it. I recorded, head office did not receive, hence head office did not record. There is no issue. I need not record for it because I have already recorded for it. Okay. So number 6, head office allocates 70. Oh, sorry. I think it's you are reading. Yeah, sixth item. Yeah, Head office allocates 75,000 to the branch as head office expenses, which has not yet been recorded by the branch. Now that means what? My expenses have to be debited and head office has to be created because head office incurred that expense on my behalf. Okay. So expense account debit to head office account 75,000, 75,000. Next, head office collected 30,000 directly from a branch customer. The intimation of the fact has been received by the branch only now. That means head office collected money on my behalf from my debtor. I did not get to know. This is something which we have seen earlier also. So entry would be head office account debit to debtor's account 30,000, 30,000. Lastly, goods dispatched by the head office amounting to 10,000 but not received by the branch till date of reconciliation. That means head office has sent some goods. Head office sent some goods. I did not receive. So to ensure there is reconciliation, what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to take something called as goods in transit. Goods in transit account is to be used. So goods in transit account would be debited and head office account would be created 10,000, 10,000. That's all. Okay. So broadly, this is how we do in case there is any rectification entries which are supposed to be passed in independent branches. Okay. Now, having said about this, now let us go back, go to our problems. Go to our problems. Let us first finish off 8, 9, 10 and 11. Okay. Let's first finish off 8, 9, 10 and 11 because these are about debtors method and stock and debtors method. Then we will go to foreign branches. Okay. So please see. I'll read out the question for you. Okay. I'll read out the question. Then we will talk about how accounting has to be done. Right. LMN is having branch at Mumbai. Goods are invoiced to the branch at 25% profit on sale. Branch has been instructed to send all cash daily to head office. All expenses are paid by the head office except petty expenses which are met by the branch. From the following particulars, prepare branch account in the books of head office. Now, this is actually exact replica of the first problem what we did. Okay, exact replica of first problem what we did. So I'll quickly do it. So you also please do along with me. You also please do along with me. So it is 8th question. Okay. So I'll copy down the same structure so that so here it is instead of Kolkata branch, it is Mumbai branch. Mumbai branch which is being done. Okay. In the books of head office is basically LMN books. LMN books. Okay. So he has given you details of stock. He says opening stock is 40,000. Okay. Debtors is given as 25,000. Cash in hand is given as 1,000 rupees. Furniture is given as 4,000 rupees. These are your opening balances. Okay. And stock reserve, here he says he sends the goods at 25% on invoice price. Okay. Read the question again. It is 25% on sales. Hence it is going to be 0.25, which is 10,000. Which is 10,000. Okay. So this is the initial, to start with the opening balances. Again, let me tell you, stock is 40,000, which is invoice price. Since there is loading in it, we have reversed it by crediting stock reserve account. Okay. So we have taken stock reserve on the credit side. That's all. Next. After that, what has happened? He has sent some goods. Yes or no? He has sent some goods. The value of the goods sent is 1,80,000. 1,80,000. And the loading on these goods is again 25%. Okay. Is again 25%, which is 45,000. So 2 GSBR by GSBR, 1,80,000 and 45,000. Apart from this, what has happened? There are some returns which are made by the branch. Returns which are made by the branch, which is 6,000 rupees. 6,000 rupees is the returns made by the branch, and the markup on this 6,000 is 25%, which is 1,500. Which is 1,500. Okay. So all these transactions we are recording. Okay. Then apart from this, what has happened? There are some petty expenses incurred by the head office for the sake of branch. Okay. So let us take each of those. What all expenses are there? You have salary. Okay. You have salary there. Then you have staff welfare. You have staff welfare, and you also have telephone. Okay. Telephone. So these are broadly your expenses. Please see the values. Values are 4,000 rupees plus 750 rupees plus 1,200. Okay. So all put together 5,950. Okay. And then what else do we have here? What else do we have here? So that's it. I think there are no other items which are there. Now let us see cash remittance being made by the by the branch to head office. So if you observe, the cash sales made is 1,20,000 given in the question, and cash collected from debtors is 65,000. And apart from this, if you see, the petty expenses incurred by the branch is hardly 700 rupees. Hardly 700 rupees. Out of that 700 rupees, you already have, to incur that 700, you already have opening balance of 1,000 rupees. So out of that 1,000 rupees, he may incur that 700. Okay. So I would take cash remittances directly. The cash remittances are 1,20,000 of cash sales made plus 65,000 of your collections from debtors. Okay. So all put together, 1,85,000 is the value of cash remitted to head office. Okay. Cash remitted to head office. Now we have completed all the transactions. Let us now go ahead with taking closing balances. So closing balances, if you see, stock, he says the value is 35,000. Okay. Against this stock, I'm immediately adjusting for the stock reserve also, which is 25%, which is 8,750. Debtors, let us do a small working note. Cash in hand is going to be, opening balance is 1,000. However, you spent 700. Okay. So it's going to be 300 left over. Okay. Furniture, opening balance is 4,000, and he says depreciation is 10% on it. So hence it is going to be 3,600. 3,600. Okay. So broadly, these are the items. The only working which you are supposed to do is debtors working note, because There are some opening balance, current year sales, credit sales made. There are some sales returns which are incurred. There are some discounts given to your debtors. All those we are supposed to consider and then prepare this. Okay. So debtors account of Mumbai branch, Mumbai Merejan. Okay. So opening balance is already known. Opening balance is 25,000 and the credit sales made is actually 70,000. J Mumbai. Credit sales made is 70,000. Okay. And then the cash what you have collected is 65,000. Okay. Sales returns is given as 1,250. Discount allowed is basically 300. Okay. So the balance in your debtors account is 28,450. 28,450. So the same is reflected here. Same is reflected here. So when you finish off all these transactions, the profit which you transfer to profit and loss account is 47,150. Okay. So, if you observe carefully, once in at least 2 years, a problem on debtors method is continuously there. Okay. So let's go ahead to next question. Yeah. Please read the 9th question. Messrs. Sandeep, having head office at Delhi, has a branch at Kolkata. The head office does wholesale trade only. One second, guys. Yeah, 1 second, I'll get back. Yeah. So sorry for the delay, guys. So let's start reading the question. Sandeep, having head office at Delhi, has a branch at Kolkata. Head office does wholesale trade only at cost plus 80%. Goods are sent to branch at wholesale price. That is cost plus 80%. The branch at Kolkata wholly engaged in retail trade and the goods are sold at cost to head office plus 100%. So 100 following details are furnished for the year ended 31st March 2014. Particulars: head office in Kolkata. Opening stock as on 1st April 2013. Purchases: goods sent to branch, cost to head office plus 80%. Sales: office expenses, selling expenses, staff salary. You are required to prepare trading P&L account of head office and branch for the year ended 31st March 2014. Now, this is actually a simple problem. This is actually a simple problem. However, since there is this detailing of profit markup and all, it looks little confusing. It looks little confusing. Otherwise, there is a very, very plain problem where you have some opening stock of goods for the head office, and then there are some purchases made by the head office, and then there are some goods sent to branch, and then there is sales made by the branch. That's all. Beyond that, there is nothing in it. Now, he has asked you to prepare trading P&L account. Both are asked to be prepared. Okay. When both are asked to be prepared, you are supposed to see what all items will form part of trading account and what all items will form part of P&L account. Now, in trading account, opening stock comes, purchase comes, goods sent to branch also comes, sales comes, and also there would be something called closing stock which you are supposed to calculate. Okay, which we are supposed to calculate. And apart from that, he has given you details of office expenses, selling expenses, staff salary and all. These are basically nothing but your expenses which hit your P&L. Okay. So considering all this, we are supposed to prepare the trading P&L account what he has asked for. So let me go ahead and do it in the Excel sheet. So I'll open trading P&L account for both together. I mean to say, in the same trading P&L account, we will have both columns. That is your head office Delhi column and also Kolkata column. Okay. So trading profit and loss account. Okay. Particulars Delhi, Kolkata, same again on the credit side. Okay. So this would be my heading and these are my particulars and amounts. Okay. Now let us start with opening stock. To opening stock on the debit side. He says only for head office there is opening stock. Okay. So value is 1,25,000. Now, with respect to opening stock of head office, will there be any markup? Will not be there because head office will show its own stock at cost only. Only if there is stock which is sent to branch, then it will be sent at a market price. Otherwise, generally head office stock is only at cost. Okay. So opening stock of 1,25,000 is at cost. Next, two purchases. Purchases, if you observe, only head office has made purchases, which is also at cost, 21,50,000. Okay. 21,50,000. Then if you observe, there are goods which are sent to branch. Goods which are sent to branch, that is sent at goods sent to branch, cost plus HO, cost to HO plus 80%, 7,38,000. Okay. 7,38,000 is supposed to be taken by goods sent to branch. Okay. 7,38,000 in head office books and in branch books. So I'll take it in here so that we can show each of these items parallelly. Okay. To goods sent to branch. It is in Kolkata account. I'm supposed to say 7,38,000. Clear? So apart from this, what has happened? There are some sales made by head office and branch. So let us take those sales directly. By sales, it is 23 lakh 79,600 made by head office and branch made 7,30,000 of sales. Okay. So broadly, these are the items which he has given to you. Now, after these items, you are supposed to calculate what is the closing stock left with head office and branch. Okay. So by closing stock, we are supposed to calculate. Okay. So let us prepare working notes for each of these places for Delhi and Kolkata independently, and then arrive at what is the gross profit made by either Delhi or Kolkata. Okay. So keep this like this and come down. Start with working note 1. Working note 1. Closing stock of head office, let us first do. Okay. Closing stock of head office, let us first do. Now, if you observe, he has given you opening stock of head office, which is 1,25,000. and then he has purchased 21,50,000 worth of goods directly from the open market, out of which he sent some goods to uh, Kolkata, and also he made some sales. He made some sales. Okay. So now we are supposed to take cost of these goods sent and also cost of sales. Okay. So let us take each of these items independently. Opening stock given is 1,25,000. Okay. Then purchases at cost again 21,50,000. Okay. Less cost of sales. Cost of sales, if you observe, he told that he has sold 23,79,600 worth of goods, and 7,38,000 worth of goods are transferred to Kolkata branch. But be it sales or transfers to Kolkata branch, he says the head office does wholesale trade only at cost plus 80%. And also he says goods are sent to branch at wholesale price, that is cost plus 80%. That means even if it is sale or even if it is transferred to branch, I will do it at 100 plus 80. Okay. So 180 rupees is the price at which I send if 100 rupees is my cost. Okay. So now we are supposed to see how much is the value of cost of sales. So let us see, the total sales made is actually your 23,79,600 plus 7,38,000. Okay. 7,38,000. These two together, I want cost of these values. Now, if you observe, this is basically 180. This is basically 180. I want 100 out of this. Okay. So what would I do? I will be dividing this with 180 and multiply with 100. So then I get the value of my stock. Okay. Okay. So this is how we did it. So 17,32,000 is the cost of my sales. Cost of my sales along with transfers. Cost of sales and the transfers. Okay. I hope you guys are able to follow. So closing stock is going to be opening stock plus purchases minus cost of goods sold, which is closing stock of Delhi is going to be this. Clear? It is 5,43,000. Okay. So here you can link it up now. 5,43,000 is closing stock of Delhi. Same way, let us do another working note for closing stock of Kolkata branch. Okay. Second working note, this is. So let us do for Kolkata branch. Now, if you observe, Kolkata branch, the goods sent to Kolkata branch is 7,38,000. Yes or no? 7,38,000 is the goods sent to Kolkata branch. So at invoice price, this is invoice price, it is 7,38,000. This is the price at which you sent. Okay. Out of this, what did he tell you? He says that he has sold, the sales made he has actually made a sale of 7,30,000. Okay. So actually goods sent to branch is 7,38,000 and he has made a sale of 7,30,000. Now read the percentage of profit at which branch is selling. Yeah, I'll repeat again. The goods sent to branch is for 7,38,000. That is, it is at 100 plus 80% profit. 80% profit. That is 7,38,000. That is the invoice price at which I have sent. Okay. Actual sales made by branch is 7,30,000. Now, what did he tell about sales made by branch? The branch at Kolkata wholly engaged in retail trade and the goods are sold at cost to head office plus 100%. Plus 100%. That means if head office purchase anything for 100 rupees, I will sell it for 200 rupees here. Okay. I am least bothered about the price at which I have got it. I will sell it at 100% margin is what Kolkata branch tells. Okay. So in such case, I am supposed to calculate what would have been the invoice price of this 7,30,000. Okay. So now let us calculate what we are supposed to do now is calculate invoice price of sales made. Invoice price of sales made by Kolkata branch. I'm supposed to find this. How do I find it? He says he has made a sale of 7,30,000. Okay. This is made at what rate? At 200%. What do I want? I want 180 because I sent it at 180. Okay. So by doing this, I get 6,57,000. That means something which I have sent for 6,57,000, he sold for 7,30,000. Okay. So please take it here. This is the working for you. Okay. So that means closing balance at Kolkata branch at invoice price is basically 7,38,000 minus 6,57,000. Okay. This is at invoice price. I want to know what is the unrealized profit in it, because without deducting the unrealized profit, I will not be able to recognize it in my P&L account. Yes or no? So now, first of all, in your branch trading account, you can directly take this 81,000 as closing stock. There is no problem. However, in P&L account, I'll have to adjust for the amount of unrealized profit in stock. Yes or no? Branch stock. There I will have to calculate the amount of the profit element in this 81,000, which I'll have to eliminate. Okay. So for that, let us do a small working here. Working note 3. URP in closing stock of branch, Kolkata branch. So this is the third working note. Okay. Invoice price of closing stock is equal to 81,000. Okay. In this, profit is 80% on invoice price. Okay. So that is equal to, 80% on cost, on cost. On cost. Okay. So I'll have to find out what is the unrealized profit in this. Okay. So it is going to be 81,000 into 80 divided by 180. Okay. 81,000 into 80 divided by 180. I get the amount of profit element in my stock. How did I do it? It is basically nothing but he said 80% is on cost. So what I did now is I added that 80% to the denominator, and I have identified the 80% on the numerator. So that is 36,000. Okay. So this is the amount of unrealized profit in my stock account. Okay. So I am removing it here for your calculation sake. Or you can directly take it as 80,000 only. 81,000, sorry. Okay. 81,000 into 80 divided by 180. I get to know what is the unrealized profit in closing stock of Kolkata branch. So with this, all workings are done. Let us go ahead with closing stock. Closing stock of branch is going to be 81,000. Okay. So now let us go ahead with preparing the accounts. Let us go ahead with preparing the accounts. So gross profits, let us calculate. Okay. Gross profit, let us calculate. To gross profit, it is going to be this minus sum of all these. Okay. So the gross profits what I got is 13,85,600 and 73,000. That's all. Okay. So the same gross profit will be brought down by GP. It is basically 13,85,600 and 73,000. Now let us go ahead with expenses. What all we have? Expenses. What all we have? So two office expenses is given. Office expenses is 50,000 for head office and 4,500 for branch. Then to selling expenses, you have 32,000 and 3,300. Then you have staff salaries. Salaries, it is given as 45,000 and 8,000. Okay. 8,000. I think these are the only expenses which are given. These are the only expenses which are given. Now we are supposed to adjust. We are supposed to adjust branch stock reserve. Branch stock reserve in head office books. Okay. Now if you observe, goods sent to branch by head office is 7,38,000, of which 81,000 is left in the balance, left in the books of accounts of Kolkata branch. To that extent, I will have to eliminate profit in head office books. Why head office books? Because head office only made that profit here. In its gross profit only that amount is included. Hence, I'll have to eliminate it in head office books. Okay. So, to stock reserve, for markup in branch closing stock, it is 36,000. Okay. So with this, let us close the accounts. Okay. So let me close the account here. On the credits, I'm taking total. Same totals, let us take. Okay. To PN profit. Okay. To net profit. To net profit is equal to this minus sum of all these. Okay. Same here. So this is how you prepare your account. So let me properly put marks. Okay. Clear? So this is my account and these are my working notes. So working note 1, working note 2 and working note 3. Okay. So I hope you guys understood how to do it. A very simple problem. Clear? All right, fine. So let's take a break and come back and then get into other problems.